Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm back to talk about Love and Hip Hop. No, not the reunion. Sorry, I'm here to talk about Love and Hip Hop New York season. What is this? Season 9, I believe. This is even season 9 or season 10. One of the two. No, I think it is season 9. This is season 9. They brought all the old cast members back. They got Joe Budden on there. They got Chrissy, Jim Jones. Tahiri is back. So those of you who've been watching Love and Hip Hop New York since season 1, you know who those people are. Even though Joe is not an old cast member, he's still back on there again this season. So we're going to talk about it. And I will say I love the Acrylics. I love how it came on. It was so new. It was so different. It was so realistic. I loved it. My favorite couple is still on there. Remy Ma and Papoose. I love their relationship. I honestly wish every man on the show or in real life was somewhat like Papoose. Who else they got on there? They got Erica Mena and Safari. I do not care. I do not like Erica Mena, so I'm not going to talk too much about her. But if Safari's happy with her, he's happy with her, and that's just that. Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about it. So we open up the show with Chrissy. Chrissy is back. She goes back to the house that her and Jim Jones share for 13 years, I believe. And the house is a complete mess. Typical man that don't clean up after himself. Now, we learned that Chrissy been gone for some time now. She moved down there to Miami. She said that her and Jim Jones are still together. However, they just need a break from each other. So she goes back home. The house is in a mess. The dog is there. Jim Jones haven't cleaned up that kitchen. I'm just like, okay. Chrissy speaks her mind about it, saying, why is the house haven't been cleaned? Jim Jones talking about something, well, you left. And she said she needed some time to herself. Then she talks about how she wants to rehash with some of the women there. She wants to talk to Kimbella because, you know, her husband, she is now the she is now the wife of Joel Santana. Y'all all know they got married last year, but the nigga is still in top. Let me not say the N-word since the YouTube police is around. Y'all know the dude is in jail or whatever for his mistakes at the airport, bringing a gun in. So, yeah, so he's serving time. We all know about this last season. She wants to talk to Kimbella since Jim Jones and Joel's is cool, but she asked Jim Jones when's the last time he talked to Joel's. He clearly says he hasn't talked to him in a while. So I mean, I guess not. But anywho, she wants to talk to Kimbella, wants to make things right. And I talked about this before. I honestly felt like Chrissy did not have to whoop Kimbella like she did. That ass whooping was not that serious. It should have came from Emily. It should not have been by Chrissy to Kimbella. That's how I feel about that subject. Moving on, we got Yandy. Yandy is back. Yandy is hosting this jail free or not jail free. It was a little get together about people that's in jail and how the justice system is not fair. You got your girl Remy Ma there. Remy Ma is looking fabulous as ever. She always looked good to me. Remy Ma is happy that ankle monitor is off her leg. She says she can now be free. She can go where she want after 8 o'clock. She don't need nobody permission. She's ready to work and get back in the studio and make this music. Juju is there. Jonathan Messy Queen ass is there. Who else was there? Rich Dollars. I think he was there too. Because, you know, Rich Dollars is going through that situation with the mother of his child who shot somebody last year. Shot her husband, I believe. Yeah, those people are there. Yandy get up there and tell her speech. Yandy did look good in her confessional. Kimbella shows up. She was kind of late, but she's there to support because she knows what Yandy's going through with Mendici being in jail, and she's going through the same thing. Kimbella lets us know they are not friends, but they are cordial. But Yandy thinks, however, they are friends. They talk. She asks how she's holding up about the whole Mendici thing. Yandy says she's doing just fine. They all laugh and kiki, whatever. Remy Ma lets everybody know she's going to have a little party of her being off parole, you know, to celebrate. You know how us people do. We got to make sure we have a party when we free. We see Sin in the next scene. We see Sin with the baby. Her and Joe never got married. However, they went their separate ways. She says Joe was cheating. She found stuff in his phone, but we don't know what she literally found. Joe is in denial. We see that in the next scene with Erica Mena. Erica Mena and Safari are happily in love. I will say Erica Mena looks different, but she is pregnant, so that's probably why her face look a little different. Every woman glows differently when they're pregnant. Safari's about to be a first-time dad. They say their wedding is in 3 weeks. They're excited. I didn't need to see all the tongue kissing, I guess. Moving on from that, Chrissy and Kimbella meets up. And Kimbella sits down with Chrissy. Chrissy lets her know right off the jump, I'm not here to be disrespectful, but I'm not here to be disrespected. Kimbella lets her know how she sucker punched her. She didn't feel like that was right. Chrissy felt like she was disrespected. She said that you disrespected me. I'm like, no, she disrespected Emily. She did not disrespect you. But they definitely hashed it out. They're not friends, but they're cordial for the Dempsey family. Because Jim Jones and Joel's are brothers in the game. So that's why they're putting their differences aside. Anywho, but they do have one common enemy, and that's Yandy. Chrissy says she still doesn't fuck with Yandy. Chrissy says Yandy was being very disrespectful. She was talking about stuff that was very personal. She was on their business. She was being shady. And Kimbella goes and tells her some business. And I will say that was messy of Kimbella. Like, yeah, you and Yandy are not cool, but did you have to run back and tell Chrissy that? Keep in mind, Chrissy did kick the fuck out of your... Chrissy did kick the daylights out of you on that couch in that party. So, I don't know if I would be open up to somebody who just, that's just me. But I get that y'all are no longer friends. However, Kimbella is still salty about the fact that Yandy never owns up to anything. And I will say that about Yandy. Yandy is a businesswoman. She's about everything. But you do stuff, Yandy, and you don't own up to it. And I'm going to just call it like it is. You really don't. And that's the vibe I get from her. But do I think that Kimbella and Chrissy should be simply talking bad about her or whatever? No. But moving on from that, we get this scene with Sin. She meets up with Joe. They want to have a common conversation. They want to have a talk so they can go how they can go from co-parenting, how they can do co-parenting without shouting. And they meet up in a park. I'm not sure where they really met up at, but they met up. And it just go from 0 to 100 real quick. Joe is not owning up to anything he done. He's basically saying like they both wasn't happy in the relationship. I come home from touring. You was gone. You shouldn't have left me. And she's all upset. She's like, you're lying. I found this in your phone. She goes to doing that accent, talking about something. He's lying, this and that and the third. And Joe is just in denial. Next thing you know, Sin is like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Take my mic off. Take my mic off. She takes her mic off. She's done. She's over it. She walks off. She storms off. And he's just telling the producer, I told y'all she was going to do this. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? That was an unnecessary scene. We didn't need to see all that. But I was here for it a little bit. With next scene, we get Yandy. It was Yandy, I believe Juju, and Jonathan. They all having lunch or drinks. And they all talk about success. They talk about how Yandy is still raising that little teenage girl of hers. And they talk about other things. And somehow Jonathan brings up, guess who's back in New York? Chrissy. And Yandy sits up in the confessional. Hearing her name makes my skin crawl. And I'm like, yeah, she feels the same way about you. Jonathan said that him and Chrissy been friends for 8 years. And he doesn't really know what's going on between her and Yandy. But he wants to stay out of it. He wants them to be able to talk and be mutual. Yandy sits up here and lets everybody know, like, no, that's not what happened. I used to manage Jim Jones. And she started acting like she wanted to manage him. And all I was just saying, like, yo, he shouldn't be spending this type of money when he got mortgages to pay. Like, I'm sorry, Ma. I told him not to buy you that $5,000 watch. And I'm just like, all this is a mess. All this is a mess. This is 8 years ago. However years ago this was, and y'all still talking about this. But okay. we see that Tahiri is back on the show. Tahiri talks with Erica Mena. I'm just going to jump right down to it. She basically thinks Erica Mena should get a prenup. I honestly don't know how much money Erica Mena has. I don't know how much money Safaree have. But if that's what she wants to do, by all means. That's all I got to say. I don't know how prenups work. I mean, I know how they work, but I can't really speak on it because I'm not rich and I ain't got no husband to be. So, moving on from that. Rich is on the show being messy, talking about Erica Mena. He's still salty about that. Let's just be real. We get this one scene with Joe and Pap. I love the conversation between Joe and Pap. Pap basically tells Joe, you got to own up to the things you do. It's something you did wrong. But Joe keeps on looking at it like, no, she up and left. She up and left. And Pap let him know there's a reason why she up and left. It's something you did for her to up and leave like that. But of course, he doesn't own up to it. So that's that. Pap and Remy Ma are getting ready for her party, her parole party, and they're looking nice. Everybody looks nice. I have nothing to say bad about the fashion. Everybody looks nice. Papoose get up there and do like a little rap. At one point, he threw some shade. He said that somebody hasn't even made today 1 year anniversary. I was like, ooh, but the camera people showed Joe. I found that funny because I'm like, Joe's not even married, but it was funny. It was funny. Safaree is there with Erica. Safaree doesn't want any beef with anybody. He said last time he seen Rich was trying to charge at him. Y'all know he charged at him last season at the reunion. He said last time he saw Joe was trying to thrash him about Erica, who wasn't even on the trip with them. And we saw that from last season. However, Joe and him are cool now. He reached out to Joe when Joe's dog died. So Joe comes up from behind and gives him a high five. They hug it out. They're cool. Rich walks over there, gives Safaree a high five, tells him congratulations. He reached out to shake Erica Mena's hand. Erica just says, thank you. She doesn't hug his hand. Rich is so salty, it's not even funny. He sits up here and says, congratulations, I'm happy for you. But in the same breath, he goes behind her back and go toss to Joe and says, I want to spit on her. I'm looking at Joe, I'm looking at Rich like, really? Really, Rich? You a man that wants to spit on a woman? Really? That's what we doing? Ugh. I don't even like Erica and I'm defending her. Like, you is not over that relationship. Clearly, you not. So, moving on from that, Sin is there and Jonathan is there. Jonathan said this is such an awkward moment. Like, you got Sin who's here, who's the ex of Erica. You got Rich Dallas who's here, who's also the ex of Erica. It's just too much going on. Then you got who else was there? You got Juju and Yandy there. Yandy said she waved at Safaree, but Safaree didn't reach back out to her. So she feels like he's so blinded by love, he doesn't have time for friends. Juju don't even open her mouth about that subject. We already been through this song and dance with Juju and Safaree last year. Let's not repeat the storyline right now. Let's not do that. So Juju don't even comment on it. In walks in Chrissy and Kimbella. And I be damned, Yandy mouth she just dropped like, what on earth are they doing? Why are they walking together? And why is this heifer here? That's the look Yandy gave Kimbella. Kimbella walks right up to him, does this little funny voice. It's been a long time. Like something she said, or I'm back, or something she said. I couldn't catch it. But that was the end of that episode. So I will be doing part 2 episode when I get done taking a shower. I need to take a shower and eat. I am hungry. My stomach is growling. So that's part 1. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be right back with the second one. Bye.